trying to dive and create a pile, but it was so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
Coaches always harp about staying ahead of the chains, and when you can run with that type of efficiency on first down, man, you are doing just that. This guy is leaving his mark on this game. Opening drive, back-to-back runs where he's found a way to get positive yards. He was able to pick up the first on that last carry. They should keep feeding him the football. The more success they have, it's going to open up the play-action game.
On the move. Not much working there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
You know, I really like this QB running the football because I know he's got a lot of speed. He's not the biggest guy in the world, so he's not going to be able to break a lot of tackles. You really got to do a good job of trying to scheme ways to get him out in more space.
And you've seen the evolution of these slot receivers. They're just matchup nightmares. They're hard to get your hand on. A lot of times they're off the football. You can't jam them. These guys are so productive. The offenses really feature their best players most time in those slot positions.
Really nice job there by the quarterback, understanding that it's zone coverage on third down. You're going to have to find someone working into a soft spot, get the ball out of your hands quickly, make an accurate throw, and pick up the first. Well done.
And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a fantastic play by the linebacker. He has such tremendous instincts. As soon as he sees run, he's coming downhill. He's got great speed. He gets you on the ground. That's why he's one of the best linebackers in the entire country.
He's stopped for no gain again. Back-to-back runs, and they have nothing to show for it except facing a 3rd and long. This crowd knows when to bring it. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Fires to the tight end. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one.
And I love the discipline on defense right there. Big 3rd down. So everyone keeping their eyes on the quarterback, rallying to the ball, making a tackle. Great team defense.
They'll play it safe and send out the field goal unit. This crowd trying to do its part to get inside the kicker's head. He got it. And that'll put the first points of the game on the board. It's 3-0. After that last field goal drive, they're set to kick it away.
And he knocks another one through. And how about this kicker? Good way to start off your season, right? Like, what do you have at the spot? Sometimes you don't know. Can he make those kicks? Starting off, he hasn't missed one yet. Been very dependable for the squad.
Forced out of bounds right at the 20-yard line, and that's the kind of play that can really get a drive going. Here's the handoff. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
And, man, it's nice to have a guy that is just better than your guys. And no matter what play you call, man, how about him getting in the backfield quick, penetrating, using his quickness, and using his strength to get him to the ground? That is a baller.
Looking to fire. Nice gain on that play, but leaves it a little short of the first down. No ball. It's got to crank the tempo. Quarterback adjusting the pattern. Shotgun snap. Wants to throw it on 3rd.
Bro, don't cheat me, bro. Don't cheat me.
Some serious arm strength showing.
Come on.
As a quarterback, this This is going to be a very tough game. You're going up against one of the top 20 units in the entire country. They know who your primary target is. They're going to be keying on him just like they did that last time, forcing the incompletion.
He was hoping for a little more running room, but they're able to get him down at the 45. LSU will dive into the playbook here on offense. So they've put up some early points and now to build on this 3-0 lead. Got his man downfield. Crosses the 35. Out of bounds there. Nice pickup on the play. Spotted at the 32. And yet another Bayou Bengal baller on the outside who can just go get it.
And if I'm a quarterback, man, I love throwing to these guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to fit it in the box. I know my receiver out wide will make plays. LSU has had guy after guy that you can name that can do that, and they might just have enough.
Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. The RPO. Really good job working through his progression. You get it to him quickly, and the big tight end has a chance to run away.
And again,
What up, Boomy?
What's going on?
he does not, at this point, there are things, there are a lot of things that Coach Prime doesn't like doing. Excuse me. There are not, I can't think of anything that he loves more than this. So I asked him, I said, hey, Coach,
Nice job by this
I
offense
said, Coach,
converting the third down. Listen, third and
you
short,
got
they
to
know you're
use
going to run the football.
all the
They
negativity
still
and
did a great
the
job.
media elements and people taking
Third
shots.
downs has been such a struggle for this offense.
You know,
One of the
what's your
worst
idea?
in
What do you think
college
about
football.
everyone
Nice job on
is
that.
taking a shot? You know,
He never had a chance. Just stopped.
and I'm asking, do you even hear it? And he
And that
said,
play shows you really what this defense is about. It's a
yeah, I
difficult
hear
one
it.
to attack. They're really good. One of the best in the
But
league.
it's not as
They
loud
from all angles. So
as the voice
I'm
inside of
interested
my
in
head
watching.
that
How do you
says,
mix up the play?
we're going to fix
How do you
this.
keep the defense off balance?
We're not going to lose.
Man, this defense has their
And
hands full today because
furthermore,
not only do they have to worry about the running backs and not only do they have to worry about the passing game, they've got to worry about this quarterback
something,
running the
it's
football
okay.
because of
Because you know,
plays
it's
like
okay,
that.
dog.
Not a huge explosive play, but he showed you the athleticism. He showed you he has the
Anybody
ability to hurt you with his legs.
for criticism
They'll toss it
is
to the
me.
left.
I said, okay, Coach. And so I get to think to myself,
So close to the
I
first
said, all right,
down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch
I
short.
hear it, I see it.
Once you start getting
And
closer
no,
to the
but
end
one
zone,
caveat
you
he
start
did make
bringing in more
was,
big bodies, right? They
don't
run
make
the
personal
football more.
attacks.
The field shrinks. I can run
So
different
don't, you
coverages,
know,
but
keep
really nice
thinking
job
about football.
satisfying
And
bringing
not
the
about
bodies
him,
up. I'm gonna
but
toss the
about the
ball
kids on
out
the
for a
field.
nice positive
Keep the
gain.
football. I said, okay, cool. But what I'm telling you, you can really, you can almost hear how much
LSU
music
getting set on first and 10.
hurts and how bad they want to get this run.
They'll
The
try the right
excitement he
side.
had about some of the additions that they're looking at making,
Just short of the goal line.
that
They
how
keep him out of
he's
the end
putting
zone for the
staff
moment.
together
The Tigers pounded the rock to move the
to
sticks now back
create
to work.
20-year-old everything.
Bengals
And
ahead.
what I mean is, guys who can be leaders of men, young men, in different positions, they're putting people in position to get
One
their
step
best
wrap, two step
out of these young
squeeze.
men.
See what you hit.
Not just on the
Just see you
football
bring your
field,
feet.
but
Yeah, none of that
holistically.
Yeah, those are all great
So
things
there's
to
an
run, but you're
intentionality
also trying to
about
tackle
who
another
we bring
grown
in.
man
You're
against
about
his
to
will and get him out of the way.
Oh, it's great. New hands for stretch bits and everything.
is this something you
Guys,
have?
LSU has the lead here. We've put
I
right
like
here.
it. I'll
Let's
second
have a
see.
look at our game summary. Now to see if these guys can get back in the game in the second quarter.
There's some other names that are really impressive that are on
Kickoff
this
team
list.
is on the field, and we're
I don't know
ready
the
to get
roles,
this one
but
underway.
some of the names. And it's not just pro and it's not just college. There's a mix of names that will be there, and it's not just about
And he'll bring it
what
out
have you
there
done.
this time. He's
It's
going
about
down
who
with
you
the
are,
16. Would have been much better
how
off
do
to
you
take the
fit,
touchback.
and how can we develop you as well as these young men.
The
I
Volunteer
think,
offense is back, and they hope
and
it's touchdown time in
conversation
Tennessee.
rules the nation, of
They went
course,
3 and out on their
and
first possession now to see if they can be
actions
more
have to be
productive
proven
this time
on the
around.
field.
The offense changing the
But
play.
you can hear the urgency
Use
and
the
stuff,
play
and I'm
fake
not
out to
saying that
throw.
there's never been urgency. There's always urgency when we're talking about Coach Prime. But there's a sense of renewed vision. You got to think.
No Tennessee
The
quarterback
man
will
coming
ever be
off
revered
cancer.
like Peyton Manning, but
The
Ben
man coming off of
and they're going to say,
cancer and
this
everything
guy's
he has
getting
going
into
on
the
in his
realm
life.
at least.
You get in the realm,
You
you're
figure
good.
it out.
You get in the realm, you
All right,
start
cool.
talking about Hall of
Then
Fame.
we take,
That's what kind of
jumps right back in. And now it's like the pain of losing will motivate you. You ever hear people say pain changes?
Obviously, the offense went 3 and out on their
I'm
last
telling
drive.
you,
They're
there's
having a
a
little bit more
difference.
success here. That was a
I
nice
don't
run.
know
I think
how
that's
this
the
works
key,
out,
guys. If they're able to run the
but it's
football,
going to be
they're
different.
going to be able to stay
And
on the
you know,
field.
and
I
you
think that's something you want to
this
think
whole
more
time
about
I've
if
been
you're the play
saying
caller on
the man
offense.
made
And that run
changes
really didn't
after
go
a
anywhere. A
9-win
lot of times
season.
we don't focus on it
What do you
enough.
think
How
he's going to do
important
after a
those
3-win
guys
season?
are up front. To
And
get
now
on
you're
those
starting to see
defensive
some of
linemen
these
to
changes
try to
come
run
out.
that away to get
That's
a
a
run
big
game going.
addition to his
It
guy.
squarely falls in
I
the
don't think
shoulder.
people realize,
Pressure
recruiting-wise and scheme-wise and offensively,
How
how
nice
big
is
a
it as a
difference it is.
defense when you can drop 7
And for
guys
those
into
who don't
coverage, only
understand
rush
the way
4,
the go-go
and
offense
still get
works,
home? That makes you
it's
feel good if you're
adjustable
the big
based on
boy.
talent. So there are progressions, there are things. I hear people, and I see it. And these are valid questions.
Now a
It's
lot
not
of
like,
work to do to move the
people aren't
chains,
saying
keep
valid
this
stuff.
drive alive after that earlier
But for
sack.
me diving into it and talking to the people who are involved, there are progressions. It's gonna be good. Trust me. Now I haven't seen this offense be done. You're gonna run the ball and you're gonna be able to throw. But I think I just want to drop a quick line just so people can kind of hear, because
Quarterback may change this
I'm not
route.
gonna, there's a lot in that conversation that I won't say. But I will say this, and this is really for Colorado fans
That
and
throw and
sports.
catch gets them down to the 6, and the defense
I never heard him talk like this. It's a different, I'm not gonna say different. It's almost like the motivation to get this right is the reason that he's sleeping in the house. Coach Prime right now
He fought him off for a while,
wakes up
but
in the
that's what
morning,
they mean by
he can
gang
go over there to
tackling.
the place that he prays.
Yeah, you want to be physical.
spend
You
time
want to
with
assert
him.
yourselves. And now listen, I know this is a top 5 defense against the run in college football, but you got to believe
How
you
do
can
you
do it
get
and
this
continue to
right?
stay balanced and run the football
Evaluations,
and be
not just
physical down
players.
here in the red zone.
Staff members, scheme fix, game management. What did I do wrong?
Inches more to put it in the
More
end
than
zone.
anything,
They didn't quite get that
Coach
route
Prime
run
is going
deep
to
enough
fix
pick
this in
up the first
Colorado,
down. Now they've got a 4th and
and
short.
it
I
started
think everybody
with
at home
himself.
tends to yell
And
at
I
their
think you gotta
television set.
respect
Why
that.
aren't you getting
So,
past the first down marker? Why did you run your route short?
I
Defense
did
did a
just
good
want
job
to
knowing where that
drop.
was, but
I
now
did just want to
4th
drop
down,
something just for people
offense
to
has
know,
to make
man.
a
This
decision.
So the offense
I'm
will
looking
try to
forward
punch
to
it
it.
in here on 4th and goal.
To see the manifestation of this hunger, this renewed sense of vision, and the accountability, right? Huge sense of accountability. So I think one of the main things he said, as a what went wrong, I didn't do this. I could have done this. What could I have done? And that's where Coach Prime is right now. There are a lot of changes being made. You're gonna see them as they come out, but there are some changes. It's a lot. There's some restructure, and you will see it as he's announced. There's gonna be time for all of that. But if you're
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. The Bayou Bengals will run the offense out onto the field. They saw what happened on that last scoring drive, and now probably feeling a little bit of heat to answer. Working that left side. He'll be forced out of bounds. They'll mark him down
Caught
at
10
the
touchdowns from
44-yard
junior
line,
year.
and
So
this offense has it going.
throw it together.
Breaking up a
This
drive
is
like
just
that
an
can
exciting
really
game,
get
man.
you
This is
going.
the
It's
third
first
year in
down
a
from
row
the
now
44.
that Colorado has landed
A
multiple
7-yard pickup. It'll be
signings
second and
from
3.
IMG Academy, and the last
It's
few
got to
have
feel
been
good
pretty
as an
well, I would
offense
say.
knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a
The
push up
IMG
front, go
Academy
get positive
pipeline is
yards.
still open for Coach Tommy Colorado. Two players, brothers. First being Christian Moore, 6'3", 195 pounds. Again, wide receiver, IMG Academy. Signed with Colorado. Sitting 141st of that pass. Three star on 207 Sports Composites. The Bucks beat out Alabama. They beat out Georgia. They beat out Georgia Tech, Indiana, all these schools. Michigan, Petition, Ward, and players who's already played with Julian Lewis. He's like, yeah, man, this is a great ad. The only receiver he's playing for this guy. You're not counting his brother. He's kind of a dual threat, two-way type of player. But, Christian 205 pounds, again, coming from IMG Academy. Previously played at Clemson during his sophomore year with Julian Lewis. Caught 10 touchdowns from Julian Lewis that season. So these two men have to report together. This is just an exciting game, man. This is the third year in a row now that Colorado has landed multiple signees from IMG Academy. And last year, done pretty well. So I think this one certainly has the ability to make an immediate impact. And we know that obviously this receiving room is leading a couple guys. Obviously moving on from eligibility. And I think there's going to be opportunities, particularly when you already have a relationship with the team. This is exciting. Christian Ward is a great ad. And again, at the time that he's moved to Colorado, he was the top undefeated wide receiver in the 2020 This is a big program. It's very formal. Talking about size, speed, physicality, like how long his legs are. Yes. Just galloping out there. This is a really exciting player. Yeah, bro. In the league vertical threat. He expands his window across the whole stage. That's what they're looking for since in that Walton High School during the 2024 season for his junior. Yeah, man. And this year at 9 games as a senior at IMG, 221 yards, couple touchdowns, 24 yards a catch at IMG Academy. This is a big play guy. You see, like all of these are big plays where you're moving through shots and then when you're taking a snipe or something to the crib. DG is one of the best deep ball players that we've seen in that a lot of players have, Ken Michael, Drew Miller, they showed some enthusiasm. This is probably the first true, Julian had an impact at Colorado to bring this guy here to the field. Obviously, they played Hamilton together, and since then, Christian Moore has moved on, but get used to this type of stuff, man. I mean, obviously, Julian has already played with him before. This was Christian Moore's sophomore year when he was at Hamilton. Played in all 12 games, only 12 receptions, but had 362 yards. 7.2 yards per reception, Julian Lewis running the football, and 5 touchdowns. He's been a big play threat for him before. It's also been a big play threat, at IMG Academy this year as well. That's all this guy is doing, and it's at the time he was going to Colorado was a top committed receiver in this class. So the Bucks have another one, and again, with the track record that they've shown from these freshman wide receivers. Expect Christian Wood to play next year, whether it's some of the special teams that win, some packages where there's more wide receivers on the field. But true freshman wide receivers in Colorado, absolutely. And it was at the first Julian Lewis recruit on the Julian Lewis recruit will not be the last. Will not be the last as he continues to fall out at this level, but just a exciting prospect. What I would say is a lot of raw tools. Yes.
It is so hard to defend. It's so hard to see.
A lot of these clips too, not this clip right here, but I've seen multiple clips of corners that are lining up 7 hands up, trying to take away the D-ball. He just runs right past him. I've seen a couple W's here too. He's just really polished receiver. And polish is just something that you just become accustomed to with players coming from IMG Academy because
He's
they are
also a
quite
weapon
studied
in
on
this
their
offense,
brains
catching the football.
Absolutely. Very exciting. Juniors, Christian Wilkins should play soon. Christian Wilkins.
And they're going to head out to line up for a field goal. This whole place going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise. Oh, the attempt is no good. Guys, they missed a chance to stretch the lead. It's still sitting on a 2.
And that's frustrating. I mean, you put a drive together, you're in scoring zone. Like, this is a green zone. You should be making all of these kicks, these short field goals, the chip shots. Kickers have to come through. They got to do their job.
And you know if you're this offense, you're dialing up this running back. He has been a scoring machine all season long. He just finds his way into the end zone, and this is a golden opportunity to put 6 up on the board with that guy in your backfield.
Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. Tight end in motion. See how the D reacts. Wants to fire on 2nd down. Get it out to the supersonic guy. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their first of the half.
Toyota going is on. Now's the time to get an exciting new Toyota.
Actually, good. Get great APR.
They'll try to move the chains on 3rd and short from the 25.
Toyota. Let's go places.
From the gun, wants to pass. Pressure coming.
And that's why this guy's a complete running back. He's good between the tackles, he can pass block, but he can also run routes. And we're not just talking about screens.
A shot toward the end zone.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have got some great news today. Brendan Marion, the former offensive coordinator at UNLV, spent last year as the head coach at Cincinnati State, is being back to the FBS level to be the offensive coordinator at Colorado. Now, why does that matter? Brendan Marion is the creator of the Go offense, one of my favorite ones in college football 25, and one we can use in college football 26, but they're going to be using both. It seems like it is going to be coming back in college football 27, and with a team like Colorado, I expect it to be phenomenal. So first, let's just go into the go-go. There's 4 main formations. We're going to go over all of them, the things I like, the things I don't like. This was one of my top 3 for the playoffs last year. I absolutely love him from the offense. I was so excited to even potentially have to go back. That's why usually we don't even need to use on Friday. This was an exception. We got to take a look at this. So we're going to use Colorado for this. Come out and practice mode. We're going to change that Colorado offensive playbook to, it's going to take a second, bear with me, there is one just called Go-Go. Over here, there it is. You cannot set this as your base playbook in Dynasties. You can go in like the selection screen right here and switch it to Go-Go if you wanted to do that. Like that, but you can use it in Dynasties. I don't believe it's an ultimate team. Other than that, it's only really play now. It's the only other option we got. But let's get into the go-go with Colorado. Get a little bit of a taste of what we can hopefully expect with this team next year. First, I am going to take a quick look at their depth chart too, the way I like to set up the go-go. Personally, I'm not sure if Colorado will be right for it, but a thing I am very excited for is, I mean, I wish they had it this year, because Stephen Tucker would have been unbelievable with this go-go offense, but even next year with Julian Lewis, who's a true freshman this season, already at 83 speed, I think he's going to be very, very good in this type of offense as well. Now, our options at halfback, typically, I would like to have one bruiser back and one speeder back. Colorado, we don't really have that option. We just got all these guys. We'll just keep those guys as is. At wide receiver, the important thing we have would be a shifty ability in field one. I mean, having 97 speed or 95 speed with platinum shifty, yep, that'll do. So you come out here, 97 speed, you go to wide receiver, or wide receiver 1. We would just want to make sure our slot receiver is the platinum shifty Miguel, because this is essentially, it's kind of like a flex mode triple option kind of offense, but with a lot more RPOs. So we want to make sure our shiftiest, one of our fastest, whether that's shifty, especially if it's platinum, is going to be our slot receiver. It should be the one catching most of the RPOs. So just want to make sure that is Cam Nickel in this instance. Same thing if you're running it in a dynasty. I think, yeah, play action keeping like that. Actually, there's going to be four formations: offset over weak, offset, and go slot open. So we'll just start at the beginning, offset over, which I believe is my favorite one. It's been a little bit since I looked at this, but we just want to check, make sure Nickel, whatever, is our slot receiver. That is perfect. We are good to go. Now this definitely has the best plays, in my opinion, out of all the go sets. We got some good triple options, and right away we see that RPO. This is why we put that shifty playmaking wide receiver as our slot, as our wide receiver too, as well. Just make sure he is the guy getting the RPO in offset over. The triple option here is very good. We've got a couple other options. With this one, the G-mid option on offset over, I think is last year in College Football 25 one of the best runs in the entire game. I think it's still very, very good. Obviously, you don't really get to use it a whole heck of a lot, but you can see Kennard, our left guard, or right guard, depending on which way you're running it, is going to come out and try to set the edge along with our second back. That's kind of what helps make this offense so good. Having those two backs in the backfield is going to help a lot with blocking. It's going to help a lot with them getting open on different pass routes. It just helps with a lot of things. And seeing what defense they're actually even coming out in. So let's just, as an example, let's put an RPO in our hot route, which is something right now, audibles, which is something we should have pretty much across all the formations. And why we want to do that is, let's just say we come out in a regular pass play. We'll just put them in a base, something like, it doesn't really matter, pivot four, just some sort of zone with no shuttle. We can control the defense they're in because we let tricky little corner all the way around the first game. Man coverage, that corner would not be out there. So we know let's do that they are in zone. We would audible to this RPO. When we get it to the nickel, when we can see the back is trying to get out there and trying to get to the blocks, he's going to struggle. That's going to be tough for him to get all the way out there, but he's going to try his best. Yeah, I wish there was a way to like pass like this and get this on top, but we can even see, even against this, against the coming forward match with the matching platform, we're still able to get 4 or 5 yards
That nigga bad, but that nigga can't cover that fat motherfucker.
One, we can see how this lineup looks very, very different. We can assume this is probably, I mean, sometimes we would not want to go to the RPO. That's not going to end up on. It's going to come on and potentially intercept it. That's a huge benefit of these formations, in my opinion, especially this one and the next one. Offset over and over weak. Really gets you proof that defense in your opponent is going to be able to get back to just the actual plays that you're doing. This outfield alert at that flat, I think it's very, very easy because you're going to try to recover and your team wide receivers to get some lead blockers on the outfield. It's almost like a outfield lead wide flat. Something not quite, obviously, because it's your halfback and the tight end, but still can be very, very good. So there's good runs across the board, inside zone, the triple options, the road options, even in zone pass. So this is where if you're inside halfback, you're outside halfback, you see what sign that.
Good word, Smitty.
A lot of time really strong. You know you're a better team. This offense hasn't shown it. This team hasn't shown it. It's the third quarter. They got to get it going now. Which is another play where it's really, really good to know if they're in man or in zone. So you put them in something random, and this looks like it's probably zone because that left there's not even lined up on the zone. So if it's a zone, typically the deepest kind of passes, and a lot of times they do one and actually, that one does look like it was man, just in kind of a funky line. But even if it is man and they're in a shot, something like this, there's no way of the man who's manned up on X is even going to get out and over there on time because there's another shot. So if you're going, this probably looks like man. If I had to guess, I'd go on. So I'm not going to be able to win. But just the way that two safeties are lined up, right? Didn't think they'd be lined up like that as well. So again, we can keep this like this if they're running more press and drag here on RB. Over on RB, corners always do very well. It's man, you can keep them on the crosser if you want to hang them over for Warriors, man. You out on 8 and keep it high. Like, this is just a fantastic play. We didn't use them for that. Just take a couple yards later and they send us a blitz. Or if you do come down and an extra blocker out there. Pass these on, please be insane. If this is in that left corner all the way out on the numbers, couldn't see maybe we could just feel out really quick. Get the little sunset there. It gives us time to get that wheel out past there over to the right. This one's definitely man. Those two linebackers are kissing each other at the 25. I'm hoping this. I want to see this crosser get open once, but that fake toss kind of bites on. Crosser doesn't get open, but the deep post does. Another ball that Lewis hit. How that was even close is pretty amazing. But that goes on. You guys kind of get the idea. Fake toss is the most unbelievable pass that he's mixing with RPOs on options and our different run plays just being offset over. Now, an offset over usually means more on the field, but your sidebars moving to the other side, the other lane on the highway. I guess we should put it that way. But they're switching over, but they're not really moving position. You see 29 here is closest to the fullback. They're staying next to each other. Why is it not keep going the wrong way? 29 is staying on the left, the 7 is staying on the right. 7 gets flipped to the quarterback, 29 is a little further away. This formation, I particularly love it. I really like the connection that we want. Or an RPO, the load option. This can absolutely kill some big man defenses. It's kind of similar to what we saw in regular offset over. And yes, our halfbacks are on the other side, but still against man, they're going to be more concerned with what's going on over the right with the wide receivers and the tight end over there. So then hitting our outside back, going up to try to flip the edge, can set up really well for that load option. DIY sweep reverses, I can never get those to do. You can't get more power to you. But yeah, offset of the probably my least favorite of the three, but there's still some good stuff in here too, particularly the RPOs in that load option. So I'm going to go low offset the same. Still keep a little sidecar in the back. That's the whole point of the go. But we lose a tight end and we gain a wide receiver. You know, the slot over on the left, another receiver out wide to the left, and one out wide to the right. Of course, they're going to really more pass focused than the other ones since we've got 3 wide receivers on the field, but we still got a good RPO. And my main problem is they're not the overload that we get out of offset over. It's really easy for people to disguise defenses against these sort of things. But we have another alert halfback flat. I believe we have one in every single go formation here. We got another speed option, which all the options are going to be good. Having that outside back going to set the edge really does help a lot. We got a few different play actions. Some streaks, your backs are going to be very good too. Corner outs, of course. Corner outs are good all the time. Out of any formation, especially. Also very good pass play, another good run there with halfback punch. Got some play action rollouts. So it's very important to have a mobile quarterback that can get out and take advantage of some of these option plays, some of these load option plays, or speed option plays, things like that. And there's a few rollout plays where having that extra speed and mobility on the quarterback is going to help the whole pack up a lot. Then our last step here is we go slot open. Now this one I like a little bit more. We have the slot receiver on the same side and the other 2 halfbacks, so we're still overloading that right side of the field. So you're not thinking it's a lot easier to
28-16, I'm up.
To the one side, we got another triple option. Here's some more play action, some more just basic inside zone runs. These rollout pass plays, I think it is actually rollout smash is the one I like a lot. Yeah, the cover out on B to keep the zone defenders down, that deeper corner going over the top. There, smoky rollouts, being another RPO. It's going to be a lot of runs, and a lot of RPOs, and occasionally threatening with the deep pass. And that's something like the up to Finn with that streak on RB, and then underneath little post there from B. And there is another RPO read in this one. So yeah, I think it's really good to combine all 4 of these go sets. I agree. It's kind of like how I run flexible, and I'll base everything as one new formation and kind of bounce around a little bit from there. I I use go-go offset over as my base. I think it's got the best overall set of plays, the best way to attack a lot of different things, and you get that towel on the defensive formation there, and you get the triple option, you get the RPO, you get the toss and the fake toss inside the zone. I already went over all these plays. I don't know why I'm just naming them again. Regular load option too. So it based everything out of go-go offset over. Once we notice certain things about the defense is going to, that's when we can go into some more of these offset over weeks, the offset, especially when they're just consistently coming out. So they're just almost always coming out or something like that. As an example, you know, these rollout plays are going pretty well. It's rollout smash. And he's going to keep the top flat down a little bit. And you can also put your halfbacks on the flat or something too, just to try to make sure that the defender stays down. Then you'll be able to get that corner underneath the deep half. But just some things like that. Basically, offset over, see what they're doing on defense. They're out into a ton of big man blitzes and things. And fixing the outside runs, fixing these formations, these speed options, load options, things to try to get outside the big man blitz, get the pitch off, get it to your playmakers, get them going. It's like, I don't know, I was going to say it's kind of like air raid, but that's only because the philosophy that came in my head was about getting it to your playmakers in space as often as you can. It's essentially what the go-go is too. I mean, really, I guess that's kind of what almost every offense is. But elsewhere, in this UNLV playbook, we've also got some more fun things that we can look at. The split stuff in here, I think, is really automatic. I'm imagining that we do something similar to what we did this year. We're just going to keep the go-go playbook, the UNLV playbook, Belgium 125, is essentially going to be the Colorado playbook next year, unless they're really studying Sacramento State.
Oh, wow. Play the fucking ball, nigga.
So it's, I think Colorado's playbook is very, very similar to what this is doing, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Split spot open, back cross, unbelievable play. So good. Put a place on there. He's a little too far down and too close to the backs, in my personal opinion. But we also need some fun formations with the triple option go to the right, one going to the left. We also have a split offset, and there was a midline read option here in split slot open as well. We also have another double back set here with split slot offset. What they had in 25 and they don't have in 26 is they had this, but not in shotgun, and I think it was just called split backs. It was terrible. Like, you know, it's a fun thing to mix in, but it just wasn't very good. So I'm not too upset it's gone, but I kind of am.
They're going to inside.
Every defense in the country talks about getting offenses in predictable third and long situations and bring on more speedsters when I know the pass is coming so I can have more success.
That's not a book. It's a roof tile. Often found in the house.
Couldn't ask for better starting field position for this offense.
Build storage your way. U.S. General. Only at Harbor Freight.
They'll try to run.
There's not really a point to me saying that. But what listening here is the thing I say about a lot of the playbooks where we have that similar motion with a lot of different plays inside zone, triple option, or just a swing pass going out to the right, some more triple options out of the split slot stuff. So very, very interesting playbook. You have some more standard passing options here too. This is not what I go to when it's time to pass and use UNLV. We will get to that in just a second. We also have some cluster halfback strong. I know people love cluster in Notre Dame. People cluster halfback strong. I've never personally got it to work for me, so I wouldn't really use this one too much either. Texas Nancy's a very good formation too. This one's in Hawaii and a few others. They have some really good. I love that Howard big play with that shin streak on A, the deep dig on B, and the deep route on RB. I think that's a very, very good combo. I like plays that don't really have to hop route.
But the defense just too much speed getting to the ball
carrier. Anything with that delayed kind of slow slant that we see beyond on there, unless the user's going out to defend that, it's almost always getting open. But the best passing formation in this UNLV playbook, without a doubt. Well, we do have split backs. What was I saying? I don't know. I was speaking nonsense. But the best passing formation in this
They gotta stop. They gotta stop.
It's Pistol Bunch.
The most frustrating thing
I love
Stop
Pistol
this
Bunch.
shit.
I think it is so
when
good.
teams give
And
up
having
and
a
they
threat
quit
of
and they
a
wave the
formation
white
like
flag.
this to go to and you do have to pass the ball, I think is really what sets this playbook up and down.
Give me that. Get back.
One them up a C route against press man, a lot of times that's just going to run right out of my press. But throwing out behind so much sharper than like the standard run out for whatever reason feels man coverage. There comes 3 guy or something, you're essentially setting up a floor over that right side so you can beat some zone coverages there as well. Also in Seattle, you just snap throw that outside wheel into the but then you drop zone coverage with a crosser on your slot receiver A, you put a Texas route on your halfback as long as it's going.
But can you really blame them, guys? I mean, you certainly want to put up for 2 touchdowns in the game, and they're not making the same thing either. It's tough in so far something we need to do.
Love this play. Just put a post on A, make a nice high-low between B and A. I love this formation. This bunch, specifically one of these, has those 3 pathways. It's hard to find a pistol bunch that has all 3 of those. Inside the halfback zone, you still have the read option. Inside zone splits, you still have a few runs in there as well. You can also have full house split over, but this one is kind of wild, but I really enjoy it. It's like a pistol full house, but it's got 2 receivers over on the right. It's got a triple option, a zone read, so just a read option essentially. Wide receiver screen, wouldn't recommend that one. You got triple options going both ways, which I think is fantastic. So if one going to the right, one going to the weak side, triple option switch, just in basic runs with a halfback slam. The off tackle is an unbelievable, like, first of all, the 3, call that my halfback off tackle. Really, really good play. So overall, huge fan of the UNLV playbook, huge fan of this Go-Go playbook. Very excited. Yeah, these quarterbacks, I don't know. But we have the same halfbacks across. The run plays aren't the best, but the tight ends still unflat. Type of situation like that, wow, combo like that, all really good against drop zone coverage. For 2, 3, 4, doesn't really matter. You're going to have somebody open on that. Texas, I always like those with a seam streak on your tight end and then sneak a Texas route from the halfback on the same side. Always a very good combo in there as well. I think I didn't have this. I think it did in later, or I was just blind the first time.
Credit, right? They had the penalty, the ball was snapped very close to the goal line, and still they're able to step up and stop the 2-point conversion.
It's the same personnel, it's just he kind of lines up more, your tight end gets off the line and lines up more like a slot receiver and your other receivers come in condensed in, which, you know, can be interesting. Things like scat, the extract flood, and the streaks I think will be a little bit better out of here just because of how they're lined up a little differently. That they might be able to get open a little bit better, but I wouldn't recommend too much of the split backs. I would just stay in. They'll go in their split shotgun sets up here too. Yeah, that is the 2025 playbook of 2026, and hopefully the Colorado playbook in college football at 27. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys are excited as I am for the hopeful return. I said hopeful a lot there. For the potential return of the Go-Go offense in college football 27. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you next time.
Welcome to the world of mixed NFL, and the magic since every morning.
He can now exhale just a little bit with that lead, and they are close to a victory here in the 8th week of the season.
Points, and they just keep their foot on the gas, keep putting up points, keep putting up touchdowns. And you know what? This is one of those stats days. You look back and you're like, that guy had 12 touchdowns. And well, 4 or 5 of them might have been in this game.
Looking to throw on first down. Again. And they pick up just a few on that completion. LSU right back to the line. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down.
This week, the Cleveland Browns are taking on the Tennessee Titans. And a lot of people don't have a lot of energy around this football game. But in this episode of the Ultimate Browns, I'm going to tell you why this is a pivotal game for more than one reason. Not just the quarterback, not just the general manager, not just the coach. It's for everybody involved in the organization. We'll tell you why putting out in the fastest 30 minutes in all the sports on the Ultimate Browns.
You didn't think it could get any worse. This game's over as it is anyways. Offense still throwing the football, still trying to make plays, and the defense just continues to pour it on.
Welcome on into the Ultimate Browns. It's your host, Steve Bush. Glad to be back with you on Ultimate Browns. Well, we usually do this on Tuesday. I had some things going on in the family. Thank you for all the prayers and thoughts that went out to me. We appreciate you. Glad to be back here with you on Ultimate Browns. We got a great show planned for you as always. Is Kevin Stefanski saying? I'm gonna tell you why that's up in the air, man. There's some opportunities here late in the season, and I actually think Kevin Stefanski can possibly save his job. I'll tell you the details and how I think that can come about. Also, when we talk about Kevin Stefanski, we got to get to him today.
Man, it's so
Hey,
important.
so Andrew Berry, I think he has a little bit better chance to stay than Kevin Stefanski. I'll tell you why. The three reasons I believe that Andrew Berry right now is safe in the bullpen when it comes to keeping his job secure. But first and foremost, we got to get to why the Browns and get to Titans is actually a big-time football game for a lot of different reasons. Draft order comes up. Whether or not you're going to be able to save your job. Is Shedeur Sanders a guy that's going to be able to get the run where we talked about the UCSS next year? There's a lot of things up in the air, and I'm going to tell you why Jimmy Haslam has not made any decisions with Richmond Stone right now. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Come and see the excitement of this sports season. Whether you follow the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just get more or less on at least 2 players' stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere. Prize Picks operates including California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during both football and NBA football. It keeps me on track of every single game. You can even follow your favorite players like Shedeur Sanders or Donovan Mitchell, both on the NFL and the NBA side. If one of my players leave early with an injury, the injury review saves my lineup from a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code word LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code word LOCKEDONNFL, LOCKEDON NFL, for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is good to be right.
Quarterback, and I got to be honest, guys, I'm surprised he's still even.
Welcome back on to the Ultimate Browns. Let's get right off into this game. This game against the Titans, it's two bad teams. It's two bad teams looking to joust for positioning in terms of who's going to get the number one overall pick. Now, let's start with that first and foremost. I'm just saying this right now. I got the Cleveland Browns winning this football game. I've already said it in multiple places and multiple platforms. I got the Browns winning this football game. First and foremost, the Browns defense is going to be the best in the league. That's something that we always you look at Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. That's a game in which we looked at it. It was billed as the number one versus the number two quarterback. When you go back and look at in terms of what happened in the draft, most people had Cam Ward and most people had Shedeur Sanders, even though Shedeur Sanders wasn't good. They had those as the top two names that we heard and heard about going back into the combine, going back into the pro days, and going back into last off season. Those were the two big names coming out. Now, when you look at this, here's why it's important. I think that we got to understand and come to the conclusion that Jimmy Haslam has not had anything guaranteed or written in stone. This game is more important than you know, not only because if the Cleveland Browns win, we talked about this on UCSS. If they beat the Titans, they have a chance. The betting odds or the odds are about a 12% chance to get the number one overall pick. If they beat the Titans, they have less than a 1% chance of getting the number one overall pick. Now, let's talk about what that means for what you're looking at in terms of quarterback. Because the thought process is this week is a very pivotal weekend because the Indiana Hoosiers are going against the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Big Ten Championship. One, Fernando Mendoza is the quarterback right now. He's the leader in the clubhouse. Most scouts will have him and Ty Simpson as either number one. You can throw Dante Moore from Oregon into that. Ty Simpson from Alabama. But right now, most people have Fernando Mendoza as the number one quarterback. Now, he's going against an Ohio State defense that is legit. They got first-round picks and future NFL players all over that defense. And so what you're going to need to see is if Fernando Mendoza can come out here and do what he can do against those guys. If he comes out and he balls out, then he's going to be that he's going to be listed as the number one overall pick. Now, obviously, the Titans are a team that just took Cam Ward in this draft a year ago, and I would be shocked if they moved off to him now. But here's the thing. Zach Jackson was on, and we saw the same thing happen a couple of years ago. Josh Rosen was a guy that they took in the top 10, but the next year, Kyler Murray came out, and guess what? They moved on from Josh Rosen and they got Kyler Murray. The way that this money is set up, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody falls in love. And by the way, coach has already got fired. He got a new organization, new regime coming in. And so if they want their guy, they're probably going to be able to go get him. But here's the point. It's not necessarily about that. It's what it looks like. God is this question. You got Shedeur Sanders right now. You got him and he's playing. He's probably going to get the rest of the season. If you got a game where you are now with Cam Ward and you get an opportunity to see Cam Ward up close and personal, and you see Shedeur Sanders up close and personal, if Shedeur Sanders comes out here and plays well, I think I have him throwing for 270 something, and a couple of touchdowns with a win. If he comes out here and outdoes Cam Ward in this matchup, now granted, I get it. The Cleveland Browns defense is much more formidable than the Titans defense. So if Cam Ward does not, play well, I wouldn't be surprised by it. But the thought process is this. You got Jimmy Haslam and you got Andrew Gray in front of us. They're looking at Cam Ward and saying, okay, he's the number one overall. I want to see what the eye test look like. I want to see what he looks like compared to Shedeur Sanders. And you don't get it. It's not an apples to apples, oranges to oranges comparison. But
I feel like this guy's having one of those games. It happens maybe once in your life. He's just everywhere.
Some of the things in the way he's able to move the football, you look at some of the things that he may be able to do, and if he comes out here and looks better than Cam Ward, you may have the owner and the general manager saying, well, hold on now. Well, I'm looking at Jackson Dart, and he's had some ups and downs. I'm looking at Cam Ward, and he hasn't, the world on fire. So if you're looking at Shedeur Sanders, and he comes out here, and he looks like the light bulb is going off a little bit. He doesn't look like he's swimming. He looks like he's progressing and taking some steps forward. That's a very important evaluation. See, a lot of people have moved, and I get it, this last week. A lot of people have been moving around. I know I've been going. A lot of people have moved this thing where it's like, oh my gosh, he played terrible last week. If anybody watched that game, the reason why the Cleveland Browns lost that football game was not due to Shedeur Sanders. It was due to the special teams and the situations they put him in looking at that football game. We all saw that. So now you get an opportunity in this football game to show, okay, well, if Cam Ward was the number one overall pick, let's see what he looks like. And Cam Ward has received all first-team reps. He's been a guy from Jump Street. But if this Shedeur Sanders, you can come out here and look better than Cam Ward, get a victory, and show progress that you're throwing the football downfield. Some of the timing issues with Jerry Jeudy are fixed, and the Cleveland Browns put up some points this week. That's going to help you out a lot. That's very pivotal because I hear people say it all the time. Oh, the Cleveland Browns are going to draft a quarterback. That's not necessarily true. Oh, the Cleveland Browns are firing Andrew Berry. That's not necessarily true. We'll talk about it later on. I don't think it's necessarily true that they're going to fire Kevin Stefanski. I think everything is on the board still. In these last 4 or 5 weeks for fans, because they're not in the playoff chase, it's cold outside, we may tune out a little bit, but Cleveland Browns are making evaluations each and every single day. Because if you think about it, if Mendoza is the number one overall pick, do you know what the Kings ransom is to go up and give him? All this noise, I don't understand. We be having revisionist history a lot. We be having, we be forgetting. If there was 1 and 2 quarterbacks that are bona fide number 1 and number 2, you don't have the first pick, let's stop acting like you can just go up there and chill out and just get whoever with these first round picks or picks. No. It's going to take the 2 you got, and it's going to take probably another one next week. Come on, man. This is wild. I don't know. Listen, I leave the week, and all of a sudden, people is just confused. Let me just tell you this. If there's a number 1 quarterback on the board, and he's number 1, and the Browns beat the Titans, they're not getting the first pick. And that Jaguars pick is low. That board is looking worse every single week. And they keep winning. The thought process that you can get him with those 2 picks and then maybe a 2 or a 3 is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Let me just tell you this as well. Let me just throw this out at you. If you can't get the number 1 quarterback you want, first and foremost, I'm not even taking no quarterback anyway. I mean, Simon already told you what I'm doing. It makes no sense that people is talking quarterback. Let's just keep it a buck. I just need people to understand what you're telling me. You're telling me that you are willing to pass, you're willing to take your first 2 picks, right? And I just had Zach Jackson. You're willing to take those picks and grab another quarterback. You have Dylan Gabriel, a 3rd round pick. Shedeur Sanders, a 5th round pick. And Deshaun Watson, who was an $80 million cap hit if you try to get rid of him. You already have 3 of those dudes on the roster. But you're going to take all of your assets, not just these years, these assets. You're going to take the assets from this year and some next year to go get a quarterback, and you don't have 1 offensive lineman under contract. You just benched Wyatt Teller. Does that sound like they're going to give Wyatt Teller a contract to come back next year? You don't have anybody under contract. You just talked about how your receiving core is not what it is. Cedric Tillman, again, minimalistic. We talked about, we just went in detail about what Jerry Jeudy is doing all this year. So you don't even tell me that you're going to bring in another quarterback, use those resources that you can have to get a receiver or 1 lineman. You still need 4 or 5 of them. You're telling me we're not doing that because what? Because you want to get Fernando Mendoza, put him on the roster? Now you got 4 quarterbacks. 4 again. Again, another 4. Take Shedeur Sanders out the mix. Take Dylan Gabriel out the mix. Just understand what y'all are advocating. You're advocating on running it. The essential part of what you're saying is we are running it back, but we're just going to add another quarterback into another quarterback competition. Because he's not going to start day 1. And if he does start day 1, guess what? You ran your offensive line actually is worse because you don't have anybody side. Your receiving core is the exact same thing. So you're meaning to tell me I thought Insanity was doing the same thing over expecting a different result. So now you're going to have 4 quarterbacks in a 4 quarterback challenge next year with the same receivers.
Get hold of any menu price pizza at the one, the only Domino's.
You're seeing Skechers' famous glide set footwear everywhere. And now that famous design is available in hands-free Skechers Slip-ins. Get the comfort and style glide sets now with the convenience of slip-ins with no bending down or touching the shoes. Try glide set Skechers Slip-ins.
All right, huddle up. That's some wisdom I want to share.
Defenses put a game together. Like, it is hard to believe all the facets of defense together. Run defense, pass defense. They've been so dialed in. You could tell they were ready. They were fast. They were physical. They dominated this football.
Cash back like a pro with Chase for your money. How do you cash back? Chase, make more with you.
Gonna swing it on 2nd down.
Why would any coach do that? That leads me to my front office question and coach question. Why would any coach run that back and then say, oh, well, the Cleveland Browns, you might win. Zach Jackson talks about it. You got 13, 16 people starting as rookies. You might have 20-something starting next year as rookies.
Get out of their own end zone and
Who survives that?
but that offense got nothing going, and they're going to have to
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab this lineman. We're going to grab as many receivers as we can. We're going to bolster this line, and we're going to run it back with this same Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. And we're going to see what we got. If ain't nothing shaking after that, we will go to 2027 and look for some picks. But it's wild work that you're about to come out here and package all them picks together and then essentially have a worse offensive line in the same receiving core.